Good morning. Y'all all right today? Ready for some more snow? I'd like you to please stand as you are able and welcome the graduates. indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now take your seats. We'll have a short video for you to enjoy at this moment.
To ATDM, the new front line for America's defense manufacturing industry. ATDM stands for Accelerated Training in Defense Manufacturing, and we can take you from zero to career in just 4 months. Do you love working with your hands and working with metal? Then welding might be right for you. Woodworking to inspect and measure parts to ensure quality and safety sound rewarding? Then quality control inspection, also known as metrology, may be the perfect fit for you. Does working in our state-of-the-art CNC machining lab sound exciting? Or you could lean into the technology of the future in our additive manufacturing lab. If you're someone who likes analyzing results and problem solving, then non-destructive testing could be the perfect fit for you. What makes our program so special is not just the quality of the facilities and the instructors, it is the speed to career. We prepare you to enter the workforce in just 4 months with no prior experience required. To learn more, visit us online at atdm.org.
There are giants among us. They are the men and women building our Navy's next generation submarines. They are giants in what they do because they work in a place where they can grow, where they can learn the skills to build careers as powerful as the beasts they forge. We build giants because it takes one to build one.
Good morning again, everyone. On behalf of the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research and our president, Telly Tucker, who's unavailable today, I know his name is on your program. I am not him. However, my name is John Hughes. I serve as the EVP of Operations here at IALR. Our mission here is to be a regional catalyst for economic transformation. The ATDM program and this graduating class, you're living proof of that mission in action on an international scale. Thank you to the families, friends, loved ones in attendance today. Your presence speaks volumes about your support, your pride, and your belief in these graduates to help them get this far. Congratulations, of course, to you, our graduates. Today marks the culmination of 4 months of rigorous hands-on training in a program designed to do nothing less than build the backbone of our nation's maritime industrial base. You've gained in-demand skills and you've become part of a mission that is much greater than any one of us. This journey would not have been possible, of course, without the remarkable team behind the scenes. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the instructors, mentors, staff, ATDM leadership, etc., whose dedication and unwavering belief in these students have made all the difference. Your work continues to transform lives. Lastly, ATDM and IALR would not be what it is today without the support, collaboration, and expertise of our regional partners, like Danville Community College, our elected officials. We have a few in the audience today, and esteemed guest, Mr. Vic Ingram, Vice Chair of Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors and Chairman of the Regional Industrial Facility Authority, Pauline Sumner with the MIB, Maritime Industrial Base, Mark Holland, Vice Chair of the ILR Board of Trustees, Sean Paxton, Curtis Wright. If there's anyone else that I may have missed, please raise your hand and advise us at this time. We're deeply grateful for your support and your leadership. And the Department of War, formerly the Department of Defense, their vision and commitment have been instrumental in making this program a national priority. At this time, please help me welcome to the podium my esteemed colleague, Mr. Jason Wells, EVP of Manufacturing Advancement.
right, thank you. Thank you. Good morning. As Dr. Hughes indicated, my name is Jason Wells. I have the honor of being the Executive Vice President for Manufacturing Advancement. Here at the Institute, that's the department that has the responsibility, which we're very proud of the ATDM program. I also am honored as a skilled tradesperson myself to welcome this latest cohort into the club. So welcome to being skilled tradespeople. Today, we celebrate an important milestone in the lives of these skilled tradespeople sitting before us. But before I talk about careers, certifications, and the next chapter, I want everyone here to think about something deeper and have a better appreciation for the impact these graduates are about to have on the world around them and around all of us. Somewhere today, a family drove across a bridge. A soldier will board an aircraft, a ship will leave a port, a truck will travel down the highway, and a building will stand against wind and weather. In every one of those situations, the common denominator is there is a weld holding it together. Most of us will never see it. Most of us will not even think about it. But if it fails, I guarantee you every single one of us will know about it. That is the reality of the craft that these graduates have chosen. Welding in this context is not a decoration. It's not a convenience. It's not something that's simply nice to have. Welding in these situations determine outcomes. It determines whether a bridge holds, whether a ship survives the beating from the ocean, whether an aircraft returns home, and whether equipment performs when it matters the most. One thing's for sure, steel does not forgive mistakes. And that is why this trade matters so much. In 1980, an offshore platform called the Alexander L. Keeland was operating in the North Sea near Ekofisk oil field. It wasn't drilling that night, it was housing workers that were out there in the oil field working. 212 men were living offshore working on this platform. On March 27th, during weather the platform had been designed to withstand, the crew heard a loud crack. One of the platform's massive support legs failed. Within 20 minutes, 14,000 tons of structure capsized. 123 men lost their lives. Investigators later discovered something very sobering. The entire disaster traced back to a small crack in a welded bracket, only a few millimeters thick. Over years of normal wear and tear, normal stress, that tiny imperfection slowly grew until the structure around it could no longer hold. The weld that started that crack may have only taken minutes to make, but 123 men paid the price decades later. That is the reality of this craft. That is for generations before you, before all of you take on this craft, skilled tradespeople stood where you're sitting today. They welded the ships that traveled across the Atlantic. They welded the fuel lines the power gas lines that fuel our cities. They welded the buildings that make up our skylines, and they welded the machines that shape the modern world we all live in. Most of us will never know their names, but we're all depending on their work, and someday someone will depend on your work. That is the quiet legacy of this trade, welding. A welder works in a world where inches matter, heat matters, preparation matters, and most importantly, integrity matters. You cannot hide mistakes inside steel. That is why welders carry something extremely rare in today's world, real accountability. Not spreadsheet accountability, not theoretical accountability. Lives depend on it, accountability. Because long after the spark fades and the hood comes off, the weld remains. 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. Your work will stand in the job that you do. Consider this, the USS Ohio, it's one of the oldest submarines still active in the US Navy fleet. It is more than 4 decades old. It still depends on welds made by skilled tradespeople whose careers ended years ago. It still has people, men, women on it that are diving several hundred feet under the ocean, those welds withstanding thousands of pounds of pressure, protecting those sailors still to this day. So I ask you as you take on this new career path and as you go out into the field, never let a bad day turn into a future tragedy. Today, you step into something larger than a career. Many of you are entering the defense industrial base, a community of builders, makers, machinists, inspectors, and engineers who produce the equipment that protects our freedom. Every submarine hull, every aircraft frame, every armored vehicle, every naval ship, they all depend on skilled hands, and they will depend on your skilled hands. Technology is going to change, machines will evolve, new materials will appear, and artificial intelligence will change the way we process data. But craftsmanship will never go away because a skilled welder sees things that a machine cannot. A skilled welder uses all five of their senses and their instincts to understand the behavior of a puddle, to understand the reaction of metal, the difference between something that looks good and something that will hold. There's a story from the Apollo 13 program at NASA that captures this perfectly. Many of you may have seen the movie that starred Tom Hanks, Apollo 13. During manufacturing of that particular vessel, a welder noticed something subtle in the bead of a high pressure oxygen tank. To most, to the naked eye, and to most, it looked fine. But his experience, his instincts as a seasoned welder told him that something was wrong, something wasn't right. In fact, many of the supervisors, inspectors, and engineers all told him, it'll be fine, it's great. You know, they didn't want to delay production. They didn't want to go through the expense, but he insisted and he persisted until they finally relented. They stopped the process, and then they took that vessel apart, and what they discovered was incomplete fusion, a hidden flaw that could have cracked or would have cracked under pressure. The tank was scrapped, and they totally remade that tank. Now, if any of you saw that movie, you know that one of the tanks exploded during that mission, and those astronauts barely made it home alive. The one tank that stayed intact was the tank that welder had him stop and remanufacture. So one person paying attention prevented a potential disaster in space. That is craftsmanship. So as you leave here today, there are three things I want you to take and keep in mind. First is pride, not arrogance, but pride. Pride in the craft that you've decided to take on and the responsibility that comes with it. Second is your standards. Never lower them, not for speed, not for convenience, and not because somebody tells you that's good enough. I promise you, good enough has never lasted the test of time. And third is legacy. Every weld you make becomes something bigger than you, a part of something that's much larger than yourself, a bridge that your loved ones are going to drive across, a ship that soldiers are going to go to defend our way of life and our freedom, or a building that someone you know works in and depends on to bring home a living for their family. Good enough has never built anything that lasts or protects our loved ones like that. A welder may never sign their work, but the world depends on it every single day. So graduates, today you join a long line of builders who quite literally hold the world together. From this day forward, every weld you strike carries a question, not from your boss, not from an inspector, not from the company you work for, a question from the future. And quite honestly, it's a very, very simple question. Will this hold? Will it hold when the water and the waves come crashing down? Will it hold when the aircraft lifts off the runway? Will it hold, most importantly, when lives depend on it? The answer you will write. You'll write it with your hands and how you approach your career. That is the weight of this trade, but it's also the honor of it. Because think about it, how few people get to look at the world around them and say to themselves, I helped build that. And remember this, the strength of every structure in the world is determined long before the stress arrives. It is determined by the person holding the torch. Graduates, real simple, I say congratulations to you. And now it's your turn to go build things that last. So now I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our next speaker. Today is our student speaker who gets to come up and speak to you about his experience. Today's student speaker represents the determination, work ethic, and growth that define this graduating class. To be honest with you, a class that feels like it took 6 months for you guys to get across the finish line between all the holidays and snow days and everything else. So congratulations on that. Roman Myers comes to us from Summerville, South Carolina, and he is no stranger to hard work. From manufacturing and landscaping to welding and even cutting hair, Roman has spent years working with his hands and learning the value of patience, precision, and pride in a job well done. While attending South Carolina State University, he also stepped forward as a leader, serving as freshman class vice president, executive secretary, and chief of staff. In those roles, he strengthened the same qualities that brought him here today: communication, teamwork, and a willingness to serve others. Rahman represents the next generation of skilled professionals who are ready to build, lead, and make a difference. So please join me in welcoming our student speaker, Roman Myers, to the stage.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. Today just isn't, oh, let me slow down, sorry. A little bit more nerve-wracking now that I'm doing it. It's been a while. Today isn't just about finishing a program, it's about proving something to ourselves. When we first walked into the shop, most of us were just trying to figure things out: how to strike an arc, how to run a clean bead, and how not to burn through the metal. But day by day, weld by weld, we got better. We learned patience, discipline, and the kind of focus it takes to build something that holds together. Welding also teaches you a lot about life. If you rush it, it shows. If you cut corners, it shows. But when you take your time, you learn from your mistakes. And you keep showing up, you create something strong. As we all know, if we rush doing on test day, if you don't do the prep work, you failed before you even started. And that's what this class did. We showed up early mornings, long days in the shop, sparks flying, helmets down, head steady, and we pushed through the frustration and turned it into a skill. And we all know the point system is something real. And there was days where you want to take the 2 points, but you're only 2 months in. You got to wait. You got to save them. And over the past 5 months, and when I say it's been every bit of past 5 months, this was a full 5 months. We've also been shaped by this place. We've been in Danville. It's the kind of city that almost forces you to work on yourself. It's quiet enough that you can't hide from your goals, and it's steady enough to remind you why you came here in the first place. And it isn't just about the work inside the shop. For example, at one of our community service events, I remember helping someone from the community who had locked their keys in the car. And I'm a sore loser. I don't like to let things beat me. And so I sat at that car for maybe like 30 to 45 minutes, took the shoestring out my shoe, tried to get into the car, and somehow, some way, we got into it. It wasn't a big moment to the world, but to them, it'd been everything in that moment to be able to get her back inside the car. Remember, what we're learning here isn't just about building metal, it's about being people who can help solve problems and step up when someone needs it. More than learning how to weld, we learned how to work. We learned how to solve problems, how to trust people beside us when we're working on something bigger than ourselves. The truth is that we've learned here goes way beyond this shop. Welding builds the world around us: ships, bridges, pipelines, buildings, the whole infrastructure. The work we do matters, and the people in this room are now part of that. To our instructors, thank you for pushing us, correcting us, sometimes making us run the bead again and again and again. Shout out Alex. Until it was right. To my classmates, the journey wasn't easy, but we made it through together. Every one of us knows what it took to get here, and it wasn't easy. And from here, the opportunities are wide open. Some of us will go into fabrication, some into construction, some into shipyards, and some into industries that build the backbone to this country. But wherever we go, we take this with us: the work ethic, the skill, and the pride knowing that we can build something real with our own hands. So as we step into our next chapter, remember this: steel doesn't become strong without heat, and neither do we. Congratulations to the cohort 25I, and let's keep building. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramon. I remember clearly that day when you pulled out your shoestring to let the lady in her car. So you were correct. A lot of persistence and determination. Welcome again. It is great to see so many here in the room. Now we turn our attention to a group of individuals, as we have done for the last couple of minutes, to a group of individuals who I've personally seen whose work quite literally builds the backbone, as you've heard, of our nation's manufacturing and maritime industries. These graduates, and I'm sure the instructors and the staff can all attest, have completed rigorous training in precision welding, safety, and technical craftsmanship. Through their hands-on experience and dedication inside and outside the classroom, they've mastered a trade and they develop skills. Their work demands patience, accuracy, and pride in craftsmanship. And today, we all get to help celebrate the results of their hard work. However, before we get to the part that you've all been waiting for and the reason that you've come, there's a saying that many of you may have heard: behind every successful student is a team of dedicated individuals. This achievement for these students would not be possible without the dedication of the instructors and technicians who guide, mentor, and challenge these students every day. Their expertise, their patience, and commitment to hands-on training play a vital role in preparing the next generation of skilled professionals. Instructors and technicians, please stand to be recognized as I call your names. First shift welding instructor, Alex Wilson. Now let's begin recognizing the ATDM graduating class. As each graduate's name is called, I invite you to celebrate them loudly and proudly as they cross the stage. Welding first shift with instructors Alex Wilson and technician Stephen Duncan, please step on the stage. First, we recognize John Arnett. Antoine Butler. Shania Galvez. Nathaniel Harris. Samuel Kamalafe. Roman Myers. Hunter Powell.
Congratulations.
Aaron Roach.
Congratulations.
John Sampson.
Congratulations.
Tala Voryavkins. Next up is our second shift welding team with instructors James Perry and Dylan Buchanan. Luke Angelides. Des Moines Boyd.
Congratulations.
Joseph Dayton. Braylon Harrell.
Congratulations.
Kelsey Hayamoto.
You're welcome.
Aiden Hinckley.
Congratulations. For you.
Brenda Rivera.
Bring it in.
Charles Shoup.
Congratulations.
James Tharp.
Congratulations. Thank you very much, sir.
Cody Uhaley.
Congratulations.
Gabriel Wright.
Congratulations.
And last but certainly not least, we'll recognize our third shift welders led by instructor CJ Galden and in his absence, technician Matthew Hawkins. Evan Brader. Isaiah Candy. Michaela Cummings. Damon Hester. Jack Jones. Trevor Mills. William Morris. Matthew Pulliam. Kalir Salom. And last, Christopher Turner.
see it.
Let's give a nice, big, warm, loud round of applause for all of our 25I welding graduates. Next, we'll have final remarks from our EVP, Dr. John Hughes.
Congratulations. Let's give yourselves a hand clap. And we'll give you one too. Again, want to thank each of you, students, families, friends, instructors, staff, partners, and guests for being a part of this special celebration. It's truly been a privilege to gather in this space and honor the outstanding accomplishments of our graduates. Our graduates, what you have achieved is no small feat. You took on an accelerated, intensive program designed to prepare you for the highly technical and highly critical field of defense manufacturing. It's not a small deal. You showed up ready to learn and to work. You leave here with new skills, certifications, confidence, and purpose. Know that your work will directly support our nation's defense and security. That's something to be incredibly proud of, and today is not just the end of a program, it's the beginning of a new chapter. Stay curious, stay committed, and stay connected. I realize that you have your own insular fan base right here. I was looking at the faces of your colleagues right here when you all were crossing the stage. They were genuinely happy for you. You're genuinely happy for each other. That's a bond that you shouldn't break. When you go your separate ways, make sure that you stay connected. On behalf of all of us at ILR, the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, congratulations again. We're so proud of you. We cannot wait to see what you will accomplish. This officially ends today's program. Thank you all. And I would like for the graduates to make sure you come up front, and we need to take a group photo. And then everyone else, you're welcome to take your photos and get your cookies at your leisure. Have a great day.